annual projects in Canada will no longer be subject to environmental review or scrutiny. As a nation, we are deeply insulted by this act. Our Chief and Council met with Minister Rustand on Sunday and Monday for several hours. We welcomed him into our territory, and we talked freely and openly how our nation can work with your government. We talked about how we can be an active and equal partner in the BC shale gas LNG opportunity. We told him that we need to be involved in the decision-making process. Yesterday, we watched Minister Coleman and Rustand on a video claim that BC wants to work with us. They said that they know that the BC LNG strategy cannot be realized without First Nations input. At no time did the minister mention this monumental decision had been made. At a time when BC said it wants to reset the relationship with First Nations as part of the LNG strategy, the province has acted in bad faith and violated the honor of the Crown. This is not acceptable. We, the Fort Nelson First Nation, on behalf of our ancestors, our elders, our youth, and those yet to come, are putting the BC government and the oil and gas industry on notice that BC's LNG strategy is on hold. No shale gas development will proceed in the Fort Nelson First Nation territory until our nation and our treaty is respected and our concerns about our land and our water are addressed. We will have a say what happens in our territory. We have the responsibility that we inherited from our ancestors that are enshrined in our treaty to protect our people, our lands, for the benefit of our community, now and into the future. All agreements with the province are now under review, and we're looking at all options regarding our relationship with the province and industry. We have asked all nations to support us in this stand. And I can proudly say that the chiefs you are gathered with today are right behind us. Minister Coleman and Minister Rustand, you now have the mic.
Thank you very much. This is Minister Rustand, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to address the Assembly. I also appreciate the opportunity to have heard the statement that you just made. I also want to thank you for the hospitality and the opportunity to be up there earlier. As I mentioned just before Minister Coleman came in, I do wish that I could have been there because, unfortunately, there are sometimes some mechanisms in government that the left hand doesn't quite know what the right hand is doing. Once we became aware of this myself last night, I spoke with Minister Coleman. Minister Coleman agrees with me that this is an error, that this order in council should not have gone out. As a matter of fact, we had plans in place that we would engage and have a discussion around this. Unfortunately, that did not take place, and so we are going through a mechanism right now to rescind that order before and allow us the opportunity to be able to the Treaty 8 nations, the nations that are impacted on that, and we will be sending out a note to that effect in the very near future. I'd like to give an opportunity to Minister Coleman to also respond to this.
Yeah, and if I could, first of all, I want to apologize. This was not supposed to happen this way. We had done some work with regards to this. We had a consultation process letter to go out that went out, and somebody filed the order against some instructions, or didn't get the instructions. So this is our fault. This is our fault. We let this get past us when we had another plan in place to come and consult and go through this and talk about the impact and why we thought this might be an idea worth discussing. And to first thing I have to do is apologize. It is not how we do business. John and I have been very careful to make sure we are in a respectful relationship with First Nations, and we want that to continue. We are fixing this today. We are frankly embarrassed about it. Embarrassed on behalf of not just ourselves, but also of our government, because quite frankly, we were surprised last night when the order had been posted, when we had given instructions on how the consultation should proceed, and a letter should go out and have a consultation prior to anything being done. I can't do anything else otherwise than say I'm sorry that this has happened, and that we will look at our system to make sure that it doesn't happen again. I honestly must tell you, though, this was not done in any way whatsoever to offend you or to hurt our relationship. This is we made a mistake, guys, and mistake is being rectified, and the mistake was that somebody puts one thing in place, and we had a process that was supposed to go in front of it before we would ever put it in place. But we knew we needed to get to the work so we could come and discuss it with you, and so that's what's happened. We've given instruction that the order be rescinded and held back until such time as we can enter into those consultations that we wanted to do anyway before we put it in place. Quite frankly, we're sorry, and we're going to go make sure it doesn't happen again, and we're going to fix this.
Hi, Minister. Well, I just have to say that sorry ain't good enough at this point. You want to...
I respect that, but if I was being dishonest, I wouldn't be apologizing, and I felt it was important to say I was sorry that this was something that happened and shouldn't happen.
And I understand that. And this decision, I understand, was made on April 11th. The Minister was here in my territory, where my ancestors have been guiding us for centuries, for our whole lives. And you had not even addressed any of this. We talked about open communication. And I'm not the kind of person to deal with the middleman. So if you want to get to the table, then I expect the Premier to have a chief-to-chief meeting with my council. And that's the only way we're going to move forward on this.
Chief Gale, I appreciate that, and as I've said, I am happy to come up and to have a face-to-face discussion on this, and that could bridge the way to be able to have some additional discussions. And I think Minister Coleman has also expressed a willingness to be able to come up and have a face-to-face discussion on this.
I don't think you heard me, Minister. I said the only path forward is having a chief-to-chief meeting with the Premier. You've got a lot at stake. You guys have a lot to think about. And you know where I am. I'm in my territory. You know how to get a hold of me. You know how to get a hold of my council, and you know how to get a hold of my people. I'll be at home.
And that's good. We will work from here to make that happen as best we can. And in the meantime, in all the dealings I've ever had First Nations, I've always been honest and respectful, and I am today telling you that somebody made a mistake. We were going to come and do the consultation once we knew that we could work this through our own processes, which is not unusual for us to then come and consult and accommodate something we might think might be a worthwhile change. It was trying to do something that we thought might be beneficial, but we actually had the letters to go out to start the consultation when somebody filed the order, and so that's done. I can't fix the past. We will sit down with, we'll look at the Premier schedule and see whether we can work this out somehow. But you need to know that there was no malicious intent here to do anything, and we're very, very upset about it ourselves, and we're very disappointed that it happened, and we've apologized. We'll rescind the order from here, and let's get past this.
Minister, I just need you to know that the next phone call that you need to make is to let the Premier know that all agreements with the province are under a review, and we're looking at all our options regarding our relationship with the province and industry. Masi cho hai hai.